This is Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel biting, bagel bitch boy, bagel bitch back.
Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time
MMA.
Let's motherfucking go. Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega is official for UFC 231 in Toronto. This is now going to be the main event over Joanna Jędrzejczyk taking on Valentina Shevchenko for the not undisputed, well, the winner's undisputed, but the vacant female flyweight title, 125 pounds. Brian Ortega and Max Holloway both agreed to the fight. Now it's official. Of course, we can't cover this fight being announced without covering Max Holloway's scary, weird injury that occurred at UFC 223. He got on camera doing interviews and he was slurring his words. Some people were pointing out that his face might have been drooping on one side, which led to speculations of a potential mini stroke. Some people were saying it could have been from the weight cut. Some people were saying maybe he was knocked out in sparring, but Max Holloway denied all of those. So we really don't know what the fuck happened. It's crazy. But with that being said, they did a lot of tests. The UFC ran tests, and Max Holloway said they were still unable to really figure out what the fuck happened. And now he's coming back because he was cleared. He was medically cleared, but we still don't really have any clarity as to what fucking injury took place with Max Holloway, who is the current UFC's featherweight champion. But I will say this, man. That's unfortunate. Max Holloway was proven he was en route to becoming probably one of the greatest featherweights of all time. He beat Jose Aldo twice. He's on an 11-fight winning streak. He's just looked phenomenal on the way up to becoming the UFC champion and in his title defenses. But this injury was scary, man. You know, just because we don't know what it is. And so you don't know how he's going to look in this fight. And he's going against a very tough opponent in Brian Ortega, who can knock you out. He just did Frankie Edgar, but he's even more dangerous with his jiu-jitsu. And oh, by the way, you can never count Brian Ortega out. He's a guy that's been down in fights, and he comes back and gets the finish. So this is a tough fight for Max Holloway. Honestly, we're not going to know 100% where his health is coming into this fight. But I will say this, man, hopefully he's very healthy. Hopefully he's 100%. Because if Max Holloway pulls out of this fight, I mean, he's just going to be stripped. Kind of like, you know, it's going to be like a Dominic Cruz situation where, yeah, he's probably the best featherweight in the world when healthy. But this would be technically the fourth fight, but it would be his third scheduled fight he would have pulled out of. Of course, UFC 222, ankle injury. UFC 223, okay, so that was UFC 226 where he had the Brian Ortega fight and the scary concussion symptoms, but he offered to step up and fight Khabib on short notice at UFC 223, and that even though he stepped up on short notice, the doctor stopped him during the weight cut, so he wasn't able to fight at UFC 222, 223, and 226. He was pulled out of his fight with Brian Ortega, and now he's rescheduled. So if Max Holloway doesn't make it to this fight, I think he'll be stripped until he can get healthy. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Crossing our fingers. I think he'll be okay. I'm sure he's been going to a lot of doctors, a lot of specialists trying to figure this out. And if they all cleared him to fight, then they cleared him to fight. So with that being said, we'll see how he looks against the very talented Brian Ortega, who's looking to come dethrone blessed Max Holloway at UFC 231. Let's take a look real quick at the entire card. We got Joanna versus Valentina, of course, for the vacant female flyweight title. Claudia Gadelha versus Nina Ansaroff. That's going to be a fun fight. Nina Ansaroff looking good. That's going to be a tough test. Claudia Gadelha didn't look amazing in her last fight against Carla Esparza. So, I mean, you might pick, you know, Claudia Gadelha is probably going to be a favorite, but I wouldn't count Nina all the way out. Eric Anders coming back already. He just lost to to Thiago Santos. He was fucking completely exhausted in that fight. UFC Sao Paulo main event. Eric Anders stepped up on short notice, took on Thiago Santos. Now he's coming right back and getting in there with Elias Theodorou. So that's going to be a fun fight. Interesting to see how Eric Anders looks coming back. Quick turnaround. Alexander Rakic, man, I really like this guy. Rakic, he's very fucking talented light heavyweight coming up. He's taking on Devin Clark. Yo, this Alexander, keep your eye on him. keep your motherfucking eye on Alexander Ortega because this dude is a beast and he's a stud and he's coming up. And his last fight, I don't know if it was his UFC debut or his second fight, but I just remember being super impressed by this guy and his potential. So looking forward to seeing him take on Devin Clark. Hakeem Dawodu versus Kyle Bochniak. Kyle Bochniak coming off that fucking thriller with Zabit. That's going to be fun. Hakeem Dawodu fighting out of Canada, of course, fighting in front of his home crowd. We'll see if they can maybe replicate Zabit versus Bochniak. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Diego Lima, Chad LaPrise, Olivier Alvin Mercier, and Gilbert Burns. All right, guys. That's the card so far. Got a main event. Holloway Ortega. It's official. UFC 231 in Toronto. So with that being said, man, it is what it is. Make sure you tune in to the live show tomorrow. We're going to be going live at 12 a.m. Eastern. And then on Wednesday at 12 a.m. Eastern, we're going to be having the ultimate Conor McGregor versus Khabib debate before UFC 229. So make sure you keep it locked. Stay tuned to Full Time MMA and let the Full Time family know what you think in the comments.
Da 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 da! It's the motherfucking DOWG!